My strength, Steve, is on the right side of the board. There's 3 spots for cards that you can't play.
Right.
And so you have to burn points and lose the game by putting those in. That's what I'm good at. I'm good at putting those cards in. BJ from Game Gumbo. I've got my guests here, Meeple Town. Got Dean and we got Deron, and we're talking spicy hot games. And this is one that Steve, the NameFather, the wordsmith, the producer, said he wanted to talk about. I played it. I don't know if the rest of the crew has played it. Steve, tell us about Exhibition 20th Century.
I think this is one that some of your crew put together and threw out an invite to me on BGA.
That's right.
And I knew nothing about it. It's a game from 2021. Probably fell through some COVID cracks at the time when it was released. The name that you might recognize from here is Corne van Moorsel, who's designed alone, but has also paired some with Uwe Rosenberg to do Nova Luna and others. So it's an abstract game that is pretending to be about history. It is a layered drafting game where you are taking cards that are labeled from 1900 from the 20th century, from 1900 to presumably 1999, I think it ends at. They're colored in, I think, 6 different colors that you can draft from.
That's right.
And underneath those colors are there'll be columns of cards that you can draft from. When you draft a card underneath it, that determines where your marker goes to the next colored column. So if you draft a red card, you're now going to be drafting a card in the next round from the red column. And you have to play these into a little tableau in 3 different rows, basically. One that is going to have one of every color in date order. One that is going to have all of one color in date order. And one that is going to have different colors, but within 10 years of each other. And that's it. And if you can't draft and play a card, it becomes one of your 3 strikes, and then you're out. You get points for doing this. And there's also 1 wild card and 1 card that you can play that's closest to the middle of the century. So people are going to get points on how close they are to 1950 for that 1 single spot. This is such a pure little drafting game that I think Verla, you'll appreciate what a compliment this is from me. This feels like Phil Walker Harding could have made this game.
That's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is, for me, pretty high praise. It takes 1 mechanic and gets rid of all the fluff and does that in, say, 3 or 4 layers, but 1 thing repeatedly really well. I am just garbage at it. But it's made me want to come back and play it each time and try it again. And I'm always glad when I don't know who it is who's posting the rematch, but every time we finish, I'm maybe not last, but I'm certainly not first, and I want to play it again. It's utterly simple, but it's so thinky with what you have to do to say, well, if I move to this column, what are the cards in this column that will then get me to another column? You're always you're trying to play chess, but
that just turned.
I feel like I'm still kind of playing checkers.
Yeah.
I want to play it some more. It's not
like chess
thematic, but it is kind of thinky as a little drafting game.
Have you played it on the table, or have you just been playing online?
I have not played it on the table. I want to get it after playing it on BGA on the table. And this was something BJ and I were talking about in the green room before the show. BGA might be doing a better job helping sales of actual board games by putting some of these things out there. This is certainly one that I would go looking for. I haven't seen it really in many places to get, but if I found a copy, I would certainly get it.
Yeah, we were playing it on BGA, and Jared finally found a copy. So I've actually played it live a couple of times, and I'm terrible at this game. I'm so bad at this game because of the, what did you call it, double or triple drafting, where you're trying to draft cards based on where your little meeple is moving. But when you get to that column, you got to pick cards that are going to fit on your board, and that is really and each of the different parts of your board has a different way of thinking.
Yes,
one of them is within 10, one of them is within the same continent. So it's like 3 different levels of thinking every time I draft, and it's 1 level too many. At the same time, I really have a good time.
Yeah,
and I've matched this up between this one and Trekking Through History because they feel kind of like. They don't feel like the same game, obviously, but it feels kind of like the same thing. And I much rather play this one. I do. I'm not going to say that I'm enthralled with this game. I like it. I wouldn't turn down a play of it, but I like it better than trekking through history.
Yeah.
So
I think it's one that as soon as you're taking cards, you can place it anywhere. But as you place things, your board gets more and more constricted with the rules of where you can place things, that you can't repeat a color except in one row, which you could lock yourself in. You have to have them in year sequence in that row. And as you play something, you're limiting yourself. So I'm failing at the end of the game, but I'm liking the middle of the game at least. And I want to come back to it.
where I mess up, Steve, too, is that Jared is much better at me at scanning all. So if you look at the board that I'm showing you right now, it is going to show you that on the left and right side of each one of the player boards, you can see just a myriad, a rainbow of colors. Yeah. That's every single card that's in the game.
That's the distribution.
In numerical order with the distribution of the colors. So you know that if I need one more yellow one, you can kind of scan everybody's boards and go, okay, well, there's still a 1934 left that I can grab. But that's not what I'm good at. That is just not that's not one of my strengths, is being able to scan boards like that. So there is that little bit of interactivity. My strength, Steve, is on the right side of the board. There's 3 spots for cards that you can't play.
Right.
And so you have to burn points and lose the game by putting those in. That's what I'm good at. I'm good at putting those cards in. I have never played yet where I haven't filled up the right side of the board. So if that was the winning condition, Dean and Deron, I'd be all over this game. So
yeah. I think I would like to play this one with BJ. That would help me a lot. The designer.
If you want to improve your ELO, just
that's right. That's right.
Right.
One of the designers, Corne von Morsel, designer of partial designer of Nova Luna, Factory Fun, Factory Funner, which that's interesting. I like the games that teach me something. This one, looking at the dates and seeing the different, Tamagotchi in 1996, all that's cool. Yes. I enjoy that. So, and all the things that you described, those light family weight games, I'm getting a lot of those played with my kids right now. And this seems like something I think they could play this.
Steve, one question though.
Yeah.
Where's the Zolotar?
Well, that was in the 80s. Clearly, that was probably 83, because I'm thinking that's around the same time the Hooters came out of Philadelphia and really broke with the harmonica, electronic harmonica kind of thing, or the melodica, I think they called it. It's got to be
a Hooter or a melodica, right?
It was a melodica.
Yeah, which I've actually played. Those are fun to play. I don't know if you guys have ever tried. They're fun, man.
That's got to be mid-early 80s.
Well, so that is Exhibition 20th Century. Deron, try, buy, pass. What do you think on this one?
I'm leaning to pass, but this is one of those that just because of the theme, it'd be worth a try for me. I don't like necessarily, at least it doesn't sound like this is the kind of puzzle that I want to try to solve. But if you're drafting cards throughout history, though, hey, those are the kind of things I want to see. I want to see the Zolotar card. I want to see the Rubik's Cube. Just for the novelty of that, it'd be fun to try.